A little bit of an impromptu video today. I walked outside and I looked around and I noticed something, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I figured I'd shoot a video. And I've probably done something like this before, but I don't know if it's going to be 10 things, 5 things. Anyways, this whole video is going to be about things that you might not know about if you're moving from up north or moving from somewhere else that's not Florida, moving to Florida. And I figured I would start with number one. I don't know one out of how many. But one thing I noticed as I come out here, and this is, sorry, just you have to look at me for 2 more seconds here. Moving down here from up north, lawn was always pretty easy. I remember growing up, we had dandelions and things like that to deal with, but things were green. And as you see here, you can get pretty good mix. This isn't picking on my neighbor here. His lawn gets nice and green later in the year. And then my next door neighbor here, lawn pretty green. Mine's actually looking pretty green. I'm not gonna lie. I've got some problems here that I'm fixing up. But as you look around, there's quite a bit of difference between the different lawns and the different amounts of green. And man, Florida is hot, and the grass that we grow here is pretty hardy. It's called St Augustine grass. Typically, it's what most people have. And in the winter, it does tend to brown. Now, obviously, there's ways to keep it clean or keep it green, but I guess it's clean too. But those things tend to cost some money. Either you can do it yourself. I know a lot of people have a schedule from Scott's, and it's a DIY thing. It's still pretty pricey. We've got a company that comes out and they spray fertilizer and stuff like that at different times of year on our yard. That way I don't have to really think about it. I think my neighbor over here does too. But it also takes quite a bit of water. Right now you can see it's kind of cloudy out. It's a little overcast, and we're going to have some thunderstorms. It's going to be a little bit rainy today, and I love it because it saves me money on watering my grass. But in the summer, even though we have those 20-minute cloud bursts every day, it seems, it does cost a good bit of money to water. So that's something to think about. If you like to have the nice green grass, or maybe even you're in an HOA that requires your grass to at least have a bare minimum upkeep, it's not necessarily that cheap. And I know people that spend $200, $300, even $400 a month to keep their grass looking as green as possible. Now, I try to work with the weather. I try to keep things as green as possible, but without spending quite that much watering. But in the middle of summer, I'm spending an easy $150 a month anyways, just to keep the grass fairly green. So anyways, something that you maybe didn't think about if you're thinking about moving down here to Florida. So that's number one, and I'm gonna go try to think of some more things. So come along to this video. You can't wait to find out what number 5 is. It's amazing. I don't know what it is yet, but I know it's gonna be amazing. Let's go. So one thing you may expect if you're coming from a place that's very organized, and that would be that roads and such make sense. If you can look behind me here, you probably can't see now, but it's 4 lanes. So we have a 4-lane road, and it just merges right here to a 2-lane road, right over the bridge. So you would think coming over the bridge, it would still be 2 lanes, or behind us would be 2 lanes. If they're going to build a 2-lane bridge, why would you put in if you got 4 lanes on each side of it, why would you put a 2-lane bridge in? And well, this is what we have here. And so thankfully it's not a really high traffic area, so you don't have like a ton of bottleneck. But you see behind me is going into Nocatee, and it's 4 lanes. And as we come down over here, we're going past Beach Walk and Beacon Lake, and you see it spreads back out to well, actually 6 lanes right here. Some of it will become turn lanes down the road. But maybe there's some plans. Maybe they're going to make some changes ahead here. But for right now, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You think they would have put in a wider bridge or done something a little bit differently. As an aside, there's a new Lowe's going over here, so that's pretty cool. This Beach Walk area, and over here's Beacon Lake on this side. But just a little bonus for you guys. Anyways, I gotta shut this off because I am back to driving in. So another thing that you may not know is that we get some really cool cloud formations And it doesn't always mean that it can be kind of like freaky at times. Yeah, look up here is pretty cool. And she's kind of got this sweep, and you start seeing these things, and you always think, oh, everything's a tornado, everything's a hurricane, but man, we get really cool cloud formations all the time. I wonder if I can yeah, make this look up a little bit better here. Anyway, I was just driving and saw some cool, look at this, look at it over here. How cool is that? Anyways, I thought these ones were pretty cool out here, so it made me think, man, you're coming down from up north, maybe you don't get to see all these cloud formations. Not everything's a hurricane, not everything's a tornado. You just get to see some really cool stuff here. Another thing, whoa, Echo, let me go out here. I'm here putting a lockbox on a townhome that's gonna get some paint, gonna get listed here soon in Beacon Lake. But it got me thinking, one thing you need to look out for, I don't know if this is just Florida, or just Northeast Florida, St. Augustine, whatever, but townhomes have a lot of different rules. So not even talking about condos, talking about townhomes. And a lot of cases, some townhomes, it's the homeowner's responsibility to take care of things like paint, things like the roof. Oh, a little bit of rain. You're gonna pop back over here. The exterior of the home can be the owner's responsibility. Even the lawn sometimes. Sometimes it's a hybrid. If you put a fence up, then the homeowner's responsible for the lawn. And then other times, it's completely the HOA's responsibility. And so the roof, the siding, the paint, the gardens, the grass, the watering, every single thing is handled by the HOA. And then there's some other spots where pretty much everything's handled, but the water is handled by the homeowner. So it's really important to know when you're looking at townhomes, what is actually handled, even from an insurance standpoint. I know we've talked about insurance on some other videos and the expense of that. Well, with townhomes where the exterior is maintained by the HOA, a lot of times you just need like sort of like, I guess it's some hybrid almost between like a renter's insurance and it just things that cover the inside of the home, because the outside's covered by the HOA and they have their own insurance for that. So yeah, I don't know what number we're on. Let's just call it number 4. One thing you need to know in this area in Florida, in Northeast Florida, St. Augustine, is if you're looking at townhomes, you absolutely have to understand what is being maintained, what is being covered insurance-wise by the HOA, and what are you responsible for as the homeowner. So I'm dodging raindrops here. Let's try that again. I'm dodging raindrops here. I was driving by Beach Walk. I thought of something else that you might not know. So it's a Florida thing, Northeast Florida, of course. And here we've got the brand new Beach Walk sign coming in behind me here. They got this one coming up behind me over here. And it got me thinking about something that's important to know here as well. If your expectations are such that you're going to move to a beach walk, or you're going to move to Shearwater, you're going to move to Beacon Lake, Nocatee, and you're going to have 24-hour, 365 access to all these really cool amenities. Well, that may or may not be the case. So when there's something like a lazy river, something like a water slide, those things are considered attractions. And attractions in Florida require lifeguards. Lifeguards require bodies, lifeguards, people, staff, and those are typically not super available except for like spring break and then, you know, through the summer, obviously. And because they use a lot of students, a lot of, you know, people that have other commitments, education commitments during the year. And so typically what we see is the water slides and the lazy river, the pools will be open, but the attractions, lazy rivers, water slides, things like that will be open into September, and then through the fall and the winter they'll be shut down, typically open again for spring break in March. And then, yeah, our spring break's typically March here. And then maybe open on the weekends for March, April, May. And then when school's out for summer, then they open up every day. Most pools have one day a week that they're closed. So I think Nocatee, one of them is Monday, and then the spray parks maybe Tuesday is closed. And anyways, all that to say is your amenities are amazing, but they're probably not going to be available to you all year round, especially the attractions. So pools, if you want to brave the cold. I know some of your polar bears up there like, I am not afraid of swimming in 60-degree water. Well, that's great. And you can do that, but you won't be able to go down the water slides and hang out in the lazy river and all that kind of stuff. At least not all year round. All right, one other thing that you need to know if you're going to move here to Northeast Florida is that even if it's going to be nice out the rest of the day, it doesn't matter what your plans are. Sometimes you're just going to deal with a little bit of rain. And man, we've had actually a pretty wet year. And I think in my thing number 1 that I did on this video, we talked about lawns and how much I like the rain. I don't like the rain as much when I'm out here trying to shoot video, but it's all good. I'm used to it, and you'll get used to it too. So embrace the storms, embrace the rain. And let me tell you, as an aside, there's nothing quite like sitting outside on your back lanai, and especially if you have like trees behind you, it might be cool over the water too, and seeing them sway in some of that wind and the lightning cracking and all of that. I find it super soothing. I really like it. What about you guys? Do you guys like to hang out? I'm not saying like out in the storm, but hang out outside and enjoy the wind and the rain and the thunder and the lightning? Or does that make you a little bit nervous? Anyways, that is another thing that might surprise you, or that you should probably know if you're moving here to Northeast Florida. I don't even know what this video is called yet. So speaking of rain, I've got a little break here right now. With the crazy mad storms that we have sometimes, just like downpour of rain that just wants to wash away mulch, it wants to wash away dirt, it just wants to wash away everything in its path. You would think that Florida would require, by code, to have gutters on houses. So you see up here, you need to have these things right here. And you guys all know what gutters are. We've got gutters here. But oddly enough, it is very, very, very rare to have a builder that puts gutters on standard. And some builders don't even offer it as an option. And a lot of people, you need to close and then you put gutters on your house afterward. So where you're thinking, of course there's gutters on houses. I live in Michigan. It rains once in a while. There's gutters on houses. I live in New York. We have gutters on our houses. We have snow and it weighs them down, but it's worth it to have gutters. Here in Florida, or here in Northeast Florida at least, there is, it's not code. It's pretty rare. Some of the higher end builders do it by design, and sometimes they'll put them on spec homes. But most houses don't actually come with gutters here. So, hey, learn something new, right? So hopefully that was helpful, and let's just hit one more, I guess, tip here, because I'm sitting here at this pool right here, and even though it's actually been pretty warm lately, but that water is nice and warm. This one has a heater on it. So let me leave you with one more thing that maybe you don't know about St. Augustine, and that is pools are still holding a ton of value. I mean, during COVID, the cost of a pool like shot way up, and right now the costs, I think they've stabilized a little bit. They've come down a little bit, but it's still really expensive to put a pool in, and a lot of people really want pools now. And so when I started real estate, we used to give like $15,000-$20,000 value to a pool. Now a lot of people are getting almost the full amount that the pool costs, able to tack that on to the price of the home. Again, depending on the starting point, a $1.1 million home, $100,000 pool may be able to ask 1.2. A $500,000 home may not be able to ask for 6, but you know, 560, 575, pretty easy anyways. Again, depends on the pool. But pool homes still very much in demand. And like I've said many times before, if you're looking, well, first of all, like and subscribe and all of that. And if you want to set up a private 15-minute digital cup of coffee, just ask some questions. I am here for you guys, happy to help as you're seeking to buy a house down here in St. Augustine, in St. Johns County, Jacksonville area. Stay classy. We'll see you guys on the next video.